Welcome to 8 Minutes Reading Channel, Episode 1.32 Chapter 4. Conservation and Management of Cultural Properties in Natural Protected Areas. Part 1. Responsible Institutions. Article 400. I already read in Episode 1.31. Today I will read Article 401 to Article 415. Article 401. Roles and Duties. The Ministry responsible for cultural heritage and the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall have the following roles and duties. A. Collaborate and determine cultural heritage sites in natural protected areas. B. Collaborate in preserving, protecting, and conserving cultural properties in natural protected areas. C. Study, assess, collect, and compile cultural heritage site data in natural protected areas. D. Participate in managing, preserving, protecting, and conserving natural heritage in natural protected areas. Article 402. Stakeholder consultation. The Ministry responsible for cultural heritage shall consult with the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources, subnational administrations, local communities, and relevant stakeholders before deciding to designate any cultural heritage site in a natural protected area as a cultural heritage resort, archaeological protected site, or urban heritage site as stated in Article 404, Categories of Cultural Heritage Protected Areas, of this Code. Part 2. Establishment of Cultural Heritage Protected Areas in Natural Protected Areas. Article 403. Establishment of Cultural Heritage Protected Areas in Natural Protected Areas. 1. Cultural Heritage Protected Areas in Natural Protected Areas shall be established by legal instruments as proposed by the Ministry responsible for cultural heritage or proposal by subnational administrations to the ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage, in consultation with the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and relevant stakeholders. 2. The establishment of any cultural heritage protected areas in natural protected areas shall be based on the findings of the research, unique features, values, and potential of heritage, cultural properties, beliefs, histories, economy, society and cultures, management purpose, and other relevant factors, as well as policies and strategies of the government. 3. Criteria for establishing cultural heritage protected areas in natural protected areas shall be determined in interministerial procas of the Ministry responsible for cultural heritage and the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 404. Categories of Cultural Heritage Protected Areas. Cultural heritage protected areas shall be divided into 3 categories as follows. A. Cultural Heritage Park. B. Archaeological Site. C. Urban Heritage Site. Article 405. Proposal for establishing cultural heritage protected areas. Cultural heritage protected areas shall be determined by a subdecree as proposed by the Ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage in consultation with the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources, relevant ministries or institutions, and subnational administrations. Article 406. Cooperation in establishing cultural heritage protected areas. The Ministry responsible for cultural heritage shall collaborate with the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources to establish cultural heritage protected areas in natural protected areas in case cultural heritage remains in the natural protected areas. Article 407. Criteria for establishing cultural heritage protected areas. Criteria for establishing cultural heritage protected areas shall be determined by the legal instruments of the ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage. Article 408. Cooperation in establishing archaeological sites. The Ministry responsible for cultural heritage shall collaborate with the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources to establish archaeological sites in natural protected areas in case cultural properties remain in the natural protected areas. Article 409. Archaeological site protection. Archaeological sites shall be strictly protected by not allowing any development activity, including agricultural activities, by local citizens, except for national defense under the government's decision. Article 410. Archaeological site protected compound. Designation for archaeological site protected compounds in natural protected areas shall be determined in the pracas of the minister responsible for cultural heritage in consultation with the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Part 3. Chance discoveries during various activities. Article 411. General obligation to notify about the chance discoveries. Persons who know or discovered by chance any object suspected to be cultural property or ancient building structures or other ancient objects during various activities shall report urgently to relevant ministries or institutions and subnational administrations. Article 412. Obligation to halt work and report to subnational authority. Persons who discover by chance the cultural property, ancient building structures, or other ancient objects during excavation, digging, construction, or other activity shall temporarily suspend their work, report, and bring the discovered cultural property to relevant competent institutions immediately. Article 413. Notifying the ministry or institution responsible for cultural heritage. 1. Subnational administration shall report to the ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage and take necessary measures to protect cultural properties and sites containing cultural properties until ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage conduct site inspections. 2. The ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage shall notify relevant ministries, institutions, or subnational administrations to protect and manage the discovered cultural properties safely. Article 414. Preliminary determination of importance of cultural properties. 1. The ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage shall preliminarily determine the significance of the cultural properties within 14 days of getting notified or reported. This duration may be extended once for another 14 days. 2. The ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage shall notify in writing about the extension of the possessors or owners of the immovable properties where the objects were discovered and are suspected to be cultural properties, ancient building structures, or other ancient objects. Article 415. The decision to temporarily halt work or additionally halt work suspension. 1. The ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage shall issue decisions to halt work temporarily or additionally halt work on the site where cultural properties were discovered as stated in Article 411, General obligations to notify about chance discoveries. In this code. 2. The decision to temporarily hold work or additionally halt work shall be valid for 30 days. After a preliminary determination as stated in Article 414, preliminary determination of the importance of cultural properties of this code. 3. Possessors or owners may resume their activities if the ministries or institutions responsible for cultural heritage fail to issue a new decision after 30 days. Thank you for listening, and see you in episode 1.33. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.